That's the cue. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 5:32. Roll call. Scott, are you taking this? Or are you taking
Rose, what do you like to do, Rose? Roll call?
I'm not the secretary anymore.
You're sure that you're not?
I mean, I can do roll call.
I will do roll call.
Okay.
Okay. You're right. You
did away with that.
Okay. Scott Austin is not going to be present this evening. Rose Bricker.
Present.
Owen Cass.
Present.
Yvonne McMillan is also excused this evening. Tyler Pellett.
Present.
Larry Sleeman.
Present.
Linda Young. Present. Okay. And I am Chelsea Sterner, joining as staff.
Okay, we got that taken care of. So let's take a look at the minutes from last meeting. We got an opportunity to take a look at it before the meeting. Are there any corrections or additions?
The only thing I'm seeing is I'm still listed as the secretary.
At the beginning of that meeting, you were still
was,
technically the secretary, but we did note in there that.
Yeah, okay.
And so as secretary, were you not doing anything? Is that
why? I was supposed to be taking minutes, but after the Philomath Pride event, my energy to continue that on waned, and Chelsea ended up taking that role.
Okay.
So I asked the board if they were okay just having the vice chair and chair, and then that staff would do the.
I saw it. So okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All right.
Do you want to make the motion?
I guess I did.
You're entertaining it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we got that out of the way. Music in the park plan, band selection. This is one of our major tasks of the year.
Very important.
So Chelsea, you have all of the color coordinated things that I'm trying to figure out what's green and what's blue.
Yeah.
So you want to take us through that? So first of all, though, how many of us did the online survey?
Everyone completed it.
Terrific.
All 7
All right.
members.
That's great.
Which is great news. I do want to make a correction so that it's noted in both the survey and the agenda item summary, there's a band listed as Brutal Brides Band, and it is actually Brutal Bridges Band. So
I kind of like the first one first.
What one letter can do, I will tell you, but we'll make note of that moving forward.
It's still.
Okay.
So would you like me to talk about the survey here a little bit?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and let us know what you found out.
Okay. So there are pretty colors on it, but if you get down below, there's little tables that show the score or weighted points. There's a lot of color lines on this.
So let's just start on the first one. So
okay.
This is blues, jazz, funk, DTR. So I did this, but I can't remember now. Our first choice was number 1. Our last choice was 4. Is that right?
Correct. Okay. So basically, this just shows you that, so you ranked these in order, and just for anyone who may be watching, we will, I'll be posting the results of this survey just so that you have it, but I just collected it today to make sure that everyone could do it in our short turnaround from our last meeting. But yes, so you'll see they should all be in order if they all got adjusted correctly with your highest ranking to lowest ranking.
So let's look at either DTR or Tin Can. They're like Tin Can is like 2 3/4. What does that mean?
I think it's just like the weighted score, basically. So if you look, I mean, basically the basics of it are that the DRTR is overall the favorite. So if we go down the list, you know, what I'm looking from you all tonight is, we did the last question was just overall kind of getting your ideas about the bands, and I also put that in order, so you'll see that, but I would just like to know within these categories, I wanted to know what like your top two were, so that if there were issues scheduling, that I would have a little bit more direction on who to choose, so that we can mix up the variety of music, which you've expressed that you like doing before. So what I'm seeing on number one is DRTR, Tin Can Alley are the top two choices. So I would try in that order as much as I could to
Okay.
pick one of them if that works for you all. Okay. Question two is rock country, among some other things. And again, you had Aaron Ball Band and Blood on the Plow are your top two.
It looks like Family Tradition was the highest.
Am I on the wrong one?
No, you're on the right one. It's just listed at the bottom.
Oh, this one didn't score. Okay, so Family Tradition is highest, so we're gonna go Family Tradition, Aaron Ball, and then these are out of order actually. So what happens when I pull it last minute? And then Brutal Bridges Band would be number three on this one.
Bullet Bride.
So, that's just helpful in knowing if it boils down to, you know, that I'm trying to make sure that you get a variety of music. The next is world music bands. This one's in order, good. The Nettles, we have formerly Ancient Ways, Chipendura.
Is that the same one?
Yeah,
That's
so
Ancient Ways,
I think they maybe even have different members. It might be that they have some different members, and maybe they have two different sounds.
That's what they do.
Do you know that? Okay. That's what they applied as. So I'm
Okay.
seeing the Nettles and the Ancient Ways folks as the top two. And if anyone has anything that they want to share, we can just do that at the end if you want. Folk Bluegrass.
Now, like on the Nettles, the only thing I was concerned about with that would seem to be mainly instrumental. Is that a problem?
I don't think so. I like them because they were instrumental.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in the beginning of Music in the Park, there were more instrumental bands that played. I think maybe even a majority of them at the first year or two were. So
And it may not be that way. I mean, but the one or two songs that I listened to from one of those groups didn't even have microphones.
Didn't we have the Nettles last year? No. They're newly applying this year.
I just wanted to say something quickly too. There were a couple of bands where there were only two people, and one of them was really, I thought was pretty good. But I think in the past, because I'm always sitting under the thing, I found that if the band isn't big, it doesn't make a lot of noise.
It's hard to hear.
If there's only two people, you really don't hear them. So even though they were pretty good, I didn't choose them.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So for that, the world music, I have those two, and we're good with that. And then folk, bluegrass, and a variety of other genres that are mixed in there. Looks like Barry Dempsey, Revlin, and I will just go down the list, but it looks like those were your top two.
And Revlin was one that we had.
They were
here last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That might have been the duo.
She's.
yes, I think they are.
I think actually last year
I think Phoenix was here too.
she brought her daughter was in the band also.
Okay.
I can't think of the. She lives out in Summit, I think, but I think her daughter was playing with them last year.
Okay. I do remember we got good feedback about them, and I remember they several times expressed how good of a time they had here last year, so I wasn't surprised to see them apply again.
Yeah, no, they were.
Okay, then we have a lot of colors, which I actually, when I first started to print this, weren't in there. It's been a night full of technical issues. And so in the back sheet, the final page, that's just overall the weighted average. So what what I intend to do is try to go through the different categories. I think there's 5 of them, right? 5 categories, and try to get, you know, your top choices or as close as I can to your top choices, get those, and then, I can look at this list when with what I have left and kind of work down on your top favorites and, just fill in, because we have 7, concerts to fill, not,
We only have 7. Oh,
we have 8 total, but the schools are going to do the first one.
We have to vote them in.
Yeah, they're number 1. So I just wanted to get your feedback and see if anyone had an issue with that, or if you had any other, you know, information that you want to share about any of these bands with everyone collectively. Like I said, we have them in order, but if there's just something that you want to plea to the group, about any of them that are maybe on the top half, I think now would be the time to do that.
Well, I think I voted and I think I said my piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with what you want to do, Chelsea.
And then I said at the last meeting, but I'm 1/3 of family tradition, so I don't want to vote for myself.
Oh.
The board spoke though.
But I like playing music in the park.
Yes.
So.
You guys are good.
Yeah, we were good. And I guess I would ask that if there, because there are 7 spots, if there were, do you have a preference on, you know, that there's a certain category that you would be good if we had two different bands in,
Repeat. Oh,
like the same category, like you really think that Philomath likes the rock country, or you
I
really
think that would be accurate.
Yeah, rock
Yeah.
country or
Okay.
folk bluegrass.
or folk bluegrass.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay,
think if we have too much of the same kind of thing,
right.
it's not enough variety.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, well, I'll just put that down. Is everyone good with that? Do you have anything to say about any of this over there, Owen?
So the last section, question 5, you've ranked that in order.
Mm-hmm.
I was comparing the ranking within the genres with the ranking in order to see if it sort of lines up, because it should be like one
Similar.
first, then all the seconds and the thirds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few outliers, like I see Easy Targets was ranked 4th in its group, but then it's 7th overall. Rebel was 2nd in its group, was about halfway down. Charlene and the Champagne Groups is also down there. And Corwin and Grace was 3rd in the group, but it's down here, so just something to consider when it's all considered separately versus as a whole. And that might just be showing like general interest in one genre.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we're tweaking our surveying every year, so we didn't used to do surveying. We just did a very lengthy process where we tried to talk it all through together. And so every year we're kind of honing in on our questions. I think this year worked a little better than last year, so
Better and
yeah.
better.
Yeah, we're getting better.
The yellow one?
Yellow.
The yellow ranking.
Where are you?
Last page.
Okay.
They are okay.
They are okay. Okay. I couldn't remember.
One way
what-
or the other.
It's the midway
Yeah,
one.
either way.
Gotcha.
I think it was their okay / I have no opinion.
Fair enough.
Something like that.
And I was thinking the same thing that Owen was thinking, because we had some high ranked ones, but they're down in the middle. So it's kind of 2 different rankings.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if you're looking for a balance of genres.
I think
or-
we are. I think overall that's why I focus more on that. I do think that in the past few years anyway, that you've all really expressed that you like to mix up the genres. You're okay with having a few repeat bands, but not like the whole lineup being repeat. And then Owen is of course new and has new opinions and wasn't here last year. So the overall was just really to give people that second option to gauge, because some people in the past, I don't know if any of you specifically, but just some people feel like I just really want to say whether I like a band or not, and may not have resonated with this. So I put both types in there just so that people could feel like that they got to speak their thoughts one way or another. But
Well, it looks like we've got 4 genres, is that right?
I think so, yes.
Certainly some
Oh, yeah,
overlap.
4
So with 7, that means
Mhm.
we're looking at 1 or 2.
of each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for instance, I mean, I looked back at like one of the bands that were,
Blues and jazz, rock and country,
yeah,
willow
so like,
breezes, and broken bluegrass.
like Revelin's number 2 in their category, so even though they're down further on the list, I think I'm mostly going to go off those first questions because I believe that that really was, I think it was the sweet spot is us separating them into genres. I think in the past when we were trying to kind of put them in genres, but you know, it wasn't quite coordinated. I think it overall speaks more to what you all want and it mixes things up, which is good.
I would agree.
Okay. So the next steps from me, unless you have any other questions about this, are that I'm gonna start reaching out to people. I usually I don't really cut people loose until I'm sure last year we had, scheduling was a little bit difficult last year. So I just will anticipate that that may happen again. I'm hoping that because we're earlier, I know last year some of our issues were, that's why we did it earlier this year. Some people are saying, well, we're not even sure what our schedule is yet. And I'm like, well, I know, but we also had a lot of people say, we already have our schedule completely
In
full."
August.
Yeah, so hopefully that will work better and we'll still have, you know, enough people that have spots that we can get it full. And then I will bring back, when I get a more finalized list, I'll bring that back to you. I do have a draft poster, and yeah, I'm also thinking that I might reach out to our little subcommittee and see what you 3 would like to help with or things that you'd like to look at as we move closer and, you know.
How did you envision the subcommittee like organizing? Like, are we going to meet separately outside of the park advisory board meetings? Are we just going to communicate via email?
I think we talked about email.
Yeah, we talked about email, and what I saw, at least to start, like for this year, as we kind of try this out, is that you, in the past several years, have kind of done a lot of these extra tasks, and I thought it would be nice to have other people who can, you know, are able to do that and just focus on that and say, park board members are doing all kinds of things, we're all coordinating the events, we're volunteering to go there, but we need a few people that just really are focused on remembering, hey, there's 3 of us, can we get these flyers out, or and to help up with things like that, you know. And you can always get someone else too, but that just helps to know, you know, if you can say like, hey family, I'm working, but can you help with these flyers out? I think it will just help us have a better team for getting some of that stuff done. But
The subcommittee is Rose, Tyler, and
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
yeah,
Were there many that, I know last year when we looked at it, I don't really want to get the dates, but were there many that just said I can only play on this date?
to be completely honest, I didn't look at them that
Okay,
much yet.
okay.
I did see 1 or 2 that maybe had 1 date.
Okay.
So that, you know, that's why it's good that we have quite a few choices.
Right.
But I didn't look at it to that detail yet.
And the school band's confirmed?
I believe so. I think the last meeting, Yvonne said the middle school is definitely in. She's still kind of checking with the high school, it sounded like, and I had said if she needed help, that maybe we could also reach out to, you know, contacts that we have too to see if,
So are we likely to have both bands, middle and high school?
we hope so. Yeah, I think that.
I can't remember last year if we did.
I think we did.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yes. The middle school sounds excited, so even if it ends up being the middle school, I think they have some things planned and maybe some different groups,
And they
you know.
always bring a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
Oh, that's great. So we're still going with the same days? Is it the 3rd Thursday?
Yes.
And third Thursday and the last Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last Sunday or the fourth Sunday?
The last Sunday.
Last Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Are there any fifths?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think February is a leap year.
There's usually 10
29.
days in between.
One extra day.
Yeah, so I think in one of the packets recently, there was a schedule, so.
Oh, there was?
Last month, I think.
How was it last month?
I think so.
I didn't get that one, or I didn't see that one.
So there's a schedule already. I think we're on track. Yeah.
All right, are there any other questions about music in the park?
Not at this point.
Or comments? So one other question I had, this is more bands than we've ever had apply?
Yeah, every year we seem to get
Okay.
more,
That's
so that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Talk in the future of adding a third day in a month for more
Maybe.
people.
Maybe, yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, I think eventually this is going to grow. It's just that there's going to be a point, which I think we're at a good point right now, but there will be a point where it's overwhelming for the way that it's structured. But you know, I think that it definitely can grow. And
Yeah, I mean, I was even thinking, like, having two different groups perform on the same night. You know,
There has been talk about that before.
an hour-long set.
Yeah.
And then but I don't know how much.
it's hard to set. I mean, I think that's what
Yeah.
I've heard is just the setup and
Transitioning from
yeah,
one
to the
transitioning. It can be
If
difficult.
Right, if there's a
Right.
break in between, sometimes it's a bit too.
Well, and when you're in a venue that has like other things to do, like people are, getting food and doing things, and they've shop, things to shop, and it doesn't matter as much. But
Yeah.
when you don't have all those things, it
Right.
could be quite a long break, I think.
Yeah.
So,
no,
yeah, I don't know.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, for doing.
I was gonna suggest the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah, just get a second gazebo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it's like not possible. I just think it,
The
it
battle
would
of
just
the
depend.
bands.
I think
They could
the
have 'em go
last year,
around.
the year before, I think we did suggest we had two people that were single, there was one
Performers.
person, single performer, and I think we asked them if they'd be willing to do that, and I think they both said, no, thank you. We don't wanna have to move.
Yeah, set up and tear down.
Yeah.
An hour's not very long.
Yeah.
Right, right.
All right, anything else? If not, we'll move on to,
Oh, I do have one more. Do we still have all the music equipment, the PA and the speakers and everything? Did anyone use that last year, or did everyone brought their own stuff?
Everyone brought their own stuff. I think we brought it down there. There was a miscommunication, with the school bands, actually. I heard they didn't have anything, so we brought it down there, and they did bring their own, so. Yeah, it's
I
not,
don't remember setting anything up.
I remember us having it once or twice.
yeah, I don't think it was used last year.
I don't remember it being good.
Do we still have our contact with the Lions Club to do the refreshments and concession?
Yeah, I will check with them. I haven't heard, usually, well, that's not true. I don't always hear from them. But when I don't hear from them, I think it's because they're like ready to go and they're planning to do it. But I will double check with them because I'm going to have to confirm. Mud Oven Pizza, I did talk to them and they are all in.
Nice.
Monday.
Love that.
Yeah, for
Have
Sundays.
you talked to them recently?
I did right
Okay.
before
Good.
they traveled.
Because they,
Um,
but I will say that one of the things they want to make sure is that their name is on our list that goes out.
Right.
Advertising, yeah.
Because
Right.
it wasn't last year, and so
Right.
people didn't know that there was going to be food available. I
Right.
think they were on Sundays.
Yeah, last year was a little tricky because they had other scheduled events, so it made it difficult. You only have so much room on the flyer, and when you start saying they're going to be here these dates, these dates, these dates, and the library is going to be here these dates, these dates, these dates, and it starts to get a lot. But the last I talked to them, but I'll check with them again as we get closer to putting the flyer out. But they sounded like they were in for all Sundays.
Okay.
So that makes it easier because we can say like the Lions. Lions are there every Thursday. The Mud Oven's there every.
Even if they
Sunday.
were at the,
Market.
earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's why they.
It's
wanna
part of
do
why
it, is
they
just
yeah,
kind of
they
continue
have it heated
on.
up and.
They get the pizza oven
Back and play.
heated up, and they just bring it down.
I will check with the library as well. They have a new, I'm not sure what the position is, but essentially a new library, the specific location director. So I will also reach out about.
Do we have any other groups on a regular basis that were attended or had a booth or?
We had
There
a
have been a couple,
I feel like
but
there was a craft fair once or twice.
That's periodically, but they weren't
Couple, but they
making
weren't-
enough income to like justify going.
only the library.
Yeah. Okay, good. If we can get Mud Oven on the, on the schedule, that'd be great. Okay. This is about the third time I've asked. Is there anything else for
Oh,
music?
I do. Thanks. Oh my God.
That's why I keep asking.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. You're jogging my memory. I did reach out to our sponsors from last year. I may have already said that Pioneer has said that they'll be the series sponsor again, which is great. I have one sponsor that is unable to do it this year, but did say please reach out again next year. I have one sponsor that's checking, and I think we were down a spot. We were down two sponsors last year, and then you had found one. So I think we probably should talk about that next month. I think that's early enough because we can accept that sponsorship donation at any time during the summer. But we could talk next month. But if you have some ideas for businesses that you think would be interested, it's that $200 level. And if we could get, I think we're going to need 2 or 3 of those this year. Just think about anyone that you think might be interested in
The
doing that.
neighbor logo goes on the flyers and the banner.
So I think last year, I don't know if we put them all in the logo, but we name them on the website. When we do, like, we'll do like a Facebook post where we thank them. It doesn't go on the banner, so the banner's just the banner, but we do try to put their information out there.
And announced during the event.
What's that?
Announced during the event.
During the event. I think that so far, we don't have a whole list of them, but so far we've been able to just name them all and thank them at the events.
And you were saying that we would need 2 or 3
Yeah.
$200 sponsors
Yes.
at least.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what we should like. This is kind of what we need.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So if you know someone that is just easy for you, you can ask and just let me know. I can reach out to them, or you can send them my way. Or if you need any kind of information for them, if they need a letter of request or whatever, I can help with that too.
One more time. Hearing none, let's move on. Staff and board updates. We got park projects update. Has everybody been by the Cochran
Yes.
park?
Looking really nice, yes.
Looking like a real park.
I was surprised that there's so much concrete there, but,
Yeah.
you know.
It'll grow back.
It was more obvious when they first did it. Now that they're gonna soften it up with the
The planting, yeah.
plants and trees. I see trees in there. Anyways, your update.
Oh yeah, one of the reasons why there's so much concrete in that area is because when you have events for, Memorial Day, you want to have a good substantial area where people can be, especially anyone who has issues navigating lawns and things. So I think it will be really nice. I worked for a city that had a really small area in front of the memorial, and then they had lawn that was rolling behind it. And I will tell you what, I went to a number of events over the years, and it was really hard for some people to navigate. So from that perspective, I think at that particular park location, it's going to work out really well. And yeah, you've all seen it. So basically it's moving ahead. The public works director is working with the memorial vendor. We don't quite have an update with them, but they're trying to. There was some concrete poured at that location that we were not aware was in the plans. And so we are trying to work through problem solving with that concrete that's existing right now. And so the vendor's taking a look at it. They were just going to get the owner to take a look at it so that they can make a plan for us, let us know what, they know what we want. They're just going to plan on how they're going to do it and then give us a timeline. She did note that their time frame is longer than our current grant extension, which you already know we've already extended our grant a lot. So, I'll keep you posted about that. I don't have a lot of information yet on whether or not they're able to do something that can be more within our time frame. The rest of the park, is going full steam ahead and is going to be finished, but there is possibility that the memorial will be delayed.
So as far as irrigation of the plants and stuff there, is that all gonna be set up too by the city? And
Um,
taken care of by the, is the maintenance gonna be taken care of by the
Yes.
city?
Yeah, it's a city park. Mhm.
And is there still gonna be a shelter
Yes, so, we don't,
or roof?
the current contractor is not building the shelter, so the shelter was going to be something done separately, maybe as partial volunteer donation project. So, I don't have an update on exactly what the plan for that is, but I think it's more like a phased, like, we're gonna get this park done, get it done, and then that will be like phase 2 to get that built.
Sounds like a pretty good Eagle Scout
It
project.
maybe is a good Eagle Scout project, yeah. So yes, it's kind of along those lines, like we'll be looking for how to make that happen next.
And the material that's gonna go in the play area. The play area is bigger than I anticipated. Is that the rubberized stuff or?
No, it's kind of like an artificial turf product, but it's made for playgrounds. We went with that for a number of reasons. It just it's not brand new technology, but it is a newer technology that is actually easier. It's essentially what the research was that our public works department gathered was that it's more ADA friendly, so it's easier to move on than even the rubber surfaces are. And then just there were some maintenance things over time with
That's important.
the rubber surfaces, so that's what they chose. And I think I want to say that it's been delivered and that they're scheduling the installation with the installer, so that should happen here really soon. You should be
Yeah,
seeing
well, it
that.
looks like they've got all the gravel and
Mhm.
everything compacted and down.
Yeah, it's all prepped. Yeah, so that should be there soon too.
Rotary Peace Pole, does that have a place?
It does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like a stanchion in there and it slides over the top.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on. I made them put it on the plan. Some people don't know what it is, but I know what it is. It's on there. Yeah.
And it's a four-sided, I want to say plastic, it's not plastic, it's more durable than plastic. With each side is a different language that says,
Yeah, you told us at one point, Lindy, but
oh gosh, now I can't remember. Anyway, it's something about, it doesn't say let peace reign, but it's something like that. It's not hokey, it's nice.
yeah, they are nice. Yeah,
And it's in
Seen them before.
English, Spanish, Japanese, and a Native American language. Unfortunately, it's not a local Native American language. It is from the East, but it still represents that part of the community too.
It says, "May peace prevail on earth."
Thank you.
Okay, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Have you?
Where they come from. Great. Yeah. those are-
I know I've seen one, and I cannot remember where I saw it.
Well, I know there's one in Silverton. So that's
Maybe
where I've
that's
seen
where I
one.
saw it.
Yeah.
But I've seen one overseas too, and I don't remember where.
All over the
We
world.
put that one in too. So
Okay,
good job, Rotary.
that's what we like to do.
Yeah.
Spreading peace.
Promote peace. Yeah. Okay.
I've asked this before,
Mhm.
but we've talked about fences.
Mhm.
Is that happening or not?
Yes, there are still some fences going in. I don't know when they're putting them in. I'm not sure what their project line is, but they are still planning to do fences. Yes.
Okay.
All the way around?
There's an extension on the west side that's going to come out a little bit, and then, or at least that was what was in the plans. Sometimes plans change. And then on the back of the project, so the north side of the
North side,
project.
the other ones are open to the
Yeah.
Okay.
street.
What is there going to be along the side where, that would be the north side, where there is a resident living?
There'll be a fence, and I believe that the fence that they called for, I want to say that it was like chain link with slats, maybe, or
Blockage.
yeah. And I think there's some shrubs too that they planted there that are a little bit higher as well. So
Well, and they have put, again, my son lives on the west side, and they put a lot of shrubs up against that, so.
Okay.
He hadn't heard anything from Public Works.
Okay.
That's why. All right, any other questions on the Cochran Memorial Park? And is the, to get that finished by Memorial Day?
Well, aside from the memorial itself, which we are unsure of at this point, I do think that it's on track to be finished, hopefully by even the beginning of May. You know, it's really substantially completed.
Yeah.
If they get that playground,
Okay.
surface installed, you know, it's moving right along.
One
Okay,
thing to think about,
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend is this last Sunday of the month, and that's also when we have a park, music in the park.
Oh,
Scheduling like an opening memorial kind of thing and the music in the park. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Memorial Weekend last year, of course it is.
and I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, that's right.
Is that going to be on us, or who comes up with the opening details?
Generally the council, the mayor are really heavily involved in this. We as staff usually kind of make it happen with them. Yeah, and then invite groups. But I also think that the American Legion for this particular park is going to be really heavily involved with it.
All right, any other questions or comments on that park? So then, what's up with the skate park?
I have no updates since we just recently had a meeting where we talked about the council's approvals.
I saw that it was on the
The newsletter.
It was interesting that there was a article in the Philomath News about parks in general. Was that something that this committee asked for, or the city, or he
No.
just he just did it?
Yeah, Philomath News does stay on top of most of our meetings and watches most of our meetings, so we do have pretty good reporting of what we do. So,
Good job, Brad.
yeah,
Yes,
good job,
indeed.
Brad. Yeah, I was also contacted by, the Corvallis Gazette, today actually about our skate park, so there may be an article in the Corvallis Gazette as well.
Is there a place where we can see the design? It wasn't in the feasibility study, but is there what they came up with? I don't remember seeing.
Yes, so we will have a webpage. I have not, it's on the list on my desk written. So yes, we plan to make a webpage and have like all of those documents there.
I was able to find that video of the guy who recently came to the skate park, and they're sponsored by a truck company. So the trucks on the skateboards. I was thinking of sending an email, being like, "Hey,
There you go.
if that's okay with the board, I'll run it by you guys first before sending it."
I think it's an awesome
I
idea.
was thinking it would to ask.
Sure, sure.
But I have a little brief question about what the picture that I saw. I guess it was in the paper. Because I don't know a whole lot about skateboarding, except that I do have a bit of.
Okay.
But so there's some steps and like a, the side of the steps has got like a sort of a ramp thing. Do skateboarders or other people who use that kind of equipment, do they have to go up and down the steps?
They'll jump down them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Turn
okay.
over them.
Because I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the park was designed with the feedback that we got in mind, which is very like street style. So,
Okay.
you know, skateboarders, a lot of them have gotten a bad name because they go out and skate street features. So they go down rails at businesses and they get kicked out. And, you know, so this is really a park that gives them a lot of those features that they can go to the park, whether they're skateboarders or, you know, there's a lot of ability there. You can really wheel around the way that that's designed, that entire park, whatever kind of wheels that you have. Obviously you can't get on every single feature on there with every kind of wheel, but you know, it really does give a nice surface and some options for everyone.
I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna have to do some research and get a board.
Yeah, I don't have any grandkids to skateboard. They do other things. My kids are fortunately old enough to do that.
I can't remember if I mentioned this at last month's meeting, but I did talk with someone who's on the, I want to say the Marys River Watershed Council. And I was telling them about the development of the skate park, and they were mentioning about Newton Creek and how important it is and making sure that it stays healthy.
Yes.
Is there any plans, or are we collaborating with them
I did reach out to them early in the project, yeah, to talk about potentially doing, maybe some planting and that riparian area that's next to it.
Yeah, they were just concerned about like during the construction,
Right.
anything going into the creek there.
Well, so Grindline is very cognizant of that. I mean, they know what they're doing. It was pretty amazing just working with them and listening to them and going out on sites with them. So yes, if they end up building it, or any other skate park company that ends up building it, will have to, adhere to all of those regulations for, constructing near the creek.
But it sounds like using the area that's already there. It is the better area of the three that were mentioned to keep everything away from the creek, so.
Yeah, well, just for a number of reasons, yeah.
And I was not at the last meeting. The city council, what did they actually approve?
They approved the location,
Okay,
so they accepted the recommendations of the feasibility study, which was recommending a location,
okay,
a size, and then they improved the conceptual design. So with the caveat that there still would be some further design that will be done when we pick, if Grindline ends up with the bid to build the park when the park's eventually, going out to be bid, they obviously have a design. If another company ends up with it, they may have things that they want to suggest, or between now and then, because things take time, we may hear other things, or, have some other considerations that tweak the design a little bit.
and so the main thing now is trying to figure out where to get $600,000.
Yes, so that's where we're at. And then just kind of getting all the people who've been supporting coming forward and trying to do some kind of community facing events to show support
Yes,
for
indeed.
having a new skate park in Philomath.
Sure. Sounds like a good idea. If they're gung ho, they should show it.
Yes, we need to see that. And I think also there was a little brief mention in the city newsletter this month too, and asked people if they're interested to contact me. So hopefully people will be seeing that.
Okay. Moving on, board member updates. This is a time for board members to share anything park related.
So, a friend and I took a walk around Mary's River Park on Sunday evening. Wow. There's a lot of branches and trees down from the ice storm. But it looks like, I imagine it's Public Works has made it so that you can use the pathways. They've shoved things aside so that you can use the pathway. The time previous that I was there was too much water around. I couldn't get down to one part of it. But do they have plans to use any of the downed limbs, or do they just leave it for nature to take over?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can ask them.
I'm just a bit curious. There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they do with that.
And when you
debris.
walk past where the rodeo grounds are, you can see right in there. There's nothing in the way. I imagine the bushes will grow up eventually, but I've seen things down there before, but never as much as this. Amazing, just amazing.
Yeah, it really hit the area hard.
Okay, anything else park related? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I went to Reservoir Park because on the on the plan it was earmarked for invasive plant removal, and so yeah, Reservoir Park, it's about an acre of oak woodland up on that hillside there. Beautiful views of like Mary's Peak. Yeah, really nice intact oak woodland in terms of invasive plants. Pretty extensive English ivy ground cover with climbing up a few trees, a little bit of blackberry, a few cherry trees left, just one or two scotch broom. Basically indicates that it's been taken care of. I'd say Public Works and probably some volunteers have already taken off most of the load. I'd give it a high rating for in terms of just like stewardship of that site. So you could I see why they say, yeah, it's in a maintenance phase, because it's a lot of just going and clipping ivy off of trees and clipping cherry saplings. Now you could, if you wanted to make it perfect, you could send contractors in there, but they would have to then go in and spray out the remaining English ivy. It's really not feasible to pull an acre of English ivy by hand. So I'd say it's in great shape, and you could take it a step further and write a sort of like integrated management plan, volunteers, staff, different equipment and techniques. But one thing to notice is to the northwest of that, or kind of going north, there's a HOA, sort of almost like a right of way behind the homes. And for some reason, I imagine there being a trail there. There's not a trail, but it kind of looks like it could connect to a trail up to the main highway and that bike path. And I mean, that's a whole, that's a lot of planning and policy work to do that. But looking at that section that hasn't been maintained gives you a really good idea of what Reservoir Park would look like without its current level of maintenance, because that park is just full of little cherry trees and other stuff. It's so heavily encroached. I'm sure on Leaf On you can't see 10 feet in front of you. So it's a good, that's, if you go there, you can kind of see a before and after of what it would look like without the current level of maintenance. So
That's kind of that green space that goes along, that goes north along there. Yeah, okay.
So I did talk to the Public Works Director about that too after a meeting, and he did say that yes, they do maintenance on it, and I think they do contract some of it out, but I'm not sure how much of it out that they do. But he did note, and even in my position, I've received several calls of, there are a lot of people that don't understand that that other strip is HOA. A lot of people believe when they look at Reservoir Park and think it's not being maintained, they think that that's part of it. We have people who live there who call us and tell us that we need to go maintain it, and we say, we're sorry, you need to contact your HOA.
Oh, so it is actually, that's an.
It is owned by an HOA, so the HOA in that neighborhood. So I think there is a little bit, you know, when you have those more wild areas that all kind of flow together, sometimes there is misunderstanding about who is responsible for what. So that could be part of it. You know, it's even possible that when the park study was done, that whoever went up there, that, you know, it was all, ours may not have been maintained as well at that time, and it may have just looked like it was one large area. It's hard to
Must be
say.
a forest anyway.
Is that main bank English ivy or not?
there's
Or is it
along the road on the lowest side.
Yeah,
There's a little English ivy, some grass, there's some vinca. But in that place, you kind of just want whatever's going to hold on to
right,
it.
and I know that over the years, they've just worked to get something on there to hold that, hillside down. And I noticed that last summer, I went up there and there were some trees that need to have some limbs, some dead limbs cut off, and so, you know, things like that you had mentioned. So, but otherwise, it is great. And there was a deer family up there.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of hanging out.
So we were at one point investigating making a pathway going from north to south or south to north or whatever in that area. That was an interesting ramble.
Yeah.
So if we did that, we'd have to deal with the HOA.
Yeah,
Right,
yes.
it's their property.
And when you get
But-
to that, what is it, the street where the Mormon church is, there's quite a, well, it's not a huge cliff, but it's a bit of a step down to get
Got
there.
it.
Something would have to be done. With
Challenging over there, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay. Anything else? So, future discussion items, we have sponsors for music in the park. And we'll continue our updates on the park projects, and of course. So what do we, music in the park next month, what do we need to decide?
Excuse me.
I think we'll just talk about sponsors.
And by that time, will we have a finalized list, you think?
Maybe, yeah. If I wanted to be really optimistic, yes, I will have the final, the whole thing, and you'll have, you know, get all the pretty things to look at. But I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I am gone for a week this month, so at a conference, so
Okay.
that kind of cuts into my
I'm
time.
not putting pressure on you.
Yeah,
Not
and
much.
budgeting, and budgeting.
Yeah.
I was costing out Triangle Park things, so. Yeah, but yes, I will send out email and if people are responsive, yes, hopefully we can get that, finalized for the next meeting.
All right, anything, other future discussion items that any of you would want to put on the agenda? All right, our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 5th. And if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Or I'll just adjourn it.
Or just say so moved.
What?
Someone can say so moved when he
So
says that. Do you second that, Tyler?
Second the.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Out of here at 6:23.
All right. Efficiency.
Good job.